There's no denying the impact that photography has had on our modern society. About 67% of the world's population has a smartphone capable of taking pictures with amazing clarity and detail. Early cameras were difficult to use, bulky, and few people had access to them. Once the power of the photographic image caught the attention of the world, everything changed. Although there were many who contributed to its development, there is one who can be held up as the founder of the art and the machine that would freeze time and create the still image. His name was Louis Daguerre, and he is considered the father of modern photography. Daguerre was born in France in 1787. He was a painter and an inventor who was fascinated by the idea of capturing images on a surface. His quest to create a method of preserving visual images would eventually lead him to the invention of photography. The manipulation of a real image was nothing new. The camera obscura had been around for centuries. Camera obscura, meaning dark chamber, is a dark room with a tiny hole in it. Provided the outside is much brighter, the light that shines through the hole projects an upside-down image of the outside of the wall. Leonardo da Vinci suggested that the human eye is like a camera obscura. He went on to publish the first clear description of it in 1502 called the Codex Atlanticus. The magic lantern, an early form of the projector, had been around since at least the 17th century and would use glass-painted slides with a candle behind them to project an image on a wall. Sophisticated lanterns would even employ multiple slides to show animation. The arrival of photography seemed to be called forth by destiny. In 1814, Joseph Nicéphore Niepce discovered that asphalt was sensitive to light. He could place an image in front of the asphalt, and whatever light passed through would expose an image underneath by hardening part of the asphalt. Then, with a chemical process, he could make the softer parts fall off, and what was left was an image. Niepce knew that there was something to this whole photography thing, so in 1822 he brought the idea to Louis Daguerre, a famous painter in France. After Niepce died in 1833, Daguerre kept experimenting. Daguerre concentrated his attention on the light-sensitive properties of silver salts, which had been previously demonstrated by Johann Heinrich Schultz. However, it still took hours to expose an image. Louis needed to find a way to make the process faster. Finally, in 1835, Daguerre accidentally found the answer he had been looking for. This process involved exposing a polished silver plate to iodine vapor, which made it sensitive to light. The plate was then exposed to light in a camera, which created a latent image. Expecting an exposure time of 8 hours, he set up his camera to take a picture in his studio. However, the once sunny sky had become overcast, and he was forced to stop the process. He put the plate in a dark cabinet, where he also kept chemicals. The next day, he removed the plate from the cabinet, and lo and behold, there was a picture on it. Unknown to Louis, he had mercury vapor in the cabinet, which would develop the image without having to wait 8 hours. Daguerre made the crucial discovery that an invisibly faint latent image created by a much shorter exposure could be chemically developed into a visible image. Upon seeing it, the contents of which are unknown, Daguerre said, "I have seized the light. I have arrested its flight." By 1839, Louis had perfected the process, calling the picture the Daguerrotype. Announcing his invention to a spellbound audience at the Academy of Science in Paris, the Daguerrotype was an instant success, and Daguerre quickly became famous. He opened a studio in Paris and began to produce portraits and images of street scenes, landscapes, and famous buildings. Daguerre's portraits were particularly popular, and he became known as the father of portrait photography. His images were incredibly detailed, and he was able to capture the essence of his subject in a way that had never been seen before. However, times were tough, and Louis was forced to sell the process to the French government. In a gesture of pure appreciation for art, King Louis Philippe I donated the process to the world for all to use free of charge. Except for England. They, of course, had to pay to use it. At first, only elites could afford a portrait, but soon it became common for everyone. America, in particular, took hold of the process and began collecting portraits that are still in existence today. Edgar Allan Poe, Abraham Lincoln, Frederick Douglass, and Emily Dickinson were some of the historical figures photographed. The concept had caught on, and soon the technology of the daguerreotype was set aside for newer processes. The calotype, ambrotype, and 35mm film eventually replaced it all together, and all of those have been succeeded by modern digital photography. Daguerre's invention had a profound impact on the world, and it sparked a revolution in the way we see and understand the world around us. Photography became a powerful tool for documenting history, capturing moments in time, and expressing artistry. Today, photography is an integral part of our lives, and it's hard to imagine a day where you don't snap a pic of your food and post it to social media for all the world to enjoy with you. The technology has changed over the years, but our fascination with the realism that photography creates has not. Louis Daguerre may have passed away in 1851, but his legacy lives on, and his contributions to the world of photography will never be forgotten.